So I'm making a parody video, but before I finish it, I stopped to make this one. And I need to make it as me, not the queen of bad life choices and evil, Primal Belle or Marina Abdullah. Reason being for making this one is that it will illustrate an important point that was illustrated to me really clearly today. And I'm actually illustrating it in the other video in a funnier way. But I'm going to put someone on blast here as much as I don't want to give them like any special attention. And as much as you can put an anonymous, nearly illiterate troll on blast. But then I'm going to hide them from the channel. And, I mean, there's a whole spectrum to people that might be fans or viewers of GOTUS reviews. So it could be anyone from someone who sees something they like in a video that he said and they haven't seen this other stuff, or they just think, oh, well, is this some weird internet drama? This isn't real, is it? It's too weird and too crazy. And then they find out that it is. Or it could be someone who thinks this is his edgy shtick and they don't know what he's actually done and haven't seen some of his worst content. But anybody that's like that, once they are aware of things, they'll hop out of his fan camp when they see the pro pedo stuff, when they see the crimes he's wanted for, and that those crimes have both a verbal and paper trail 10 miles long because he's not very bright. They're made to realize the person that he's telling us he is many times is exactly who he actually is. So when people tell you, you should listen. And those people will be fine in life. But then there are people like this guy. So this is typical of the one-liners you get from either Godus himself or from fans or sock puppets or whatever it is. But bunch of lies, you don't even know him. And the reality is we don't need to know him. He puts things in writing, he leaves a trail a mile long, and he says things right to our face that are insane. So that's all I need to know of him. That's the kind of person you don't go any further getting to know. And under here, after my little quips about how he experimented with knowing men in the way that is big celebrated this month, and said so in writing, because he puts everything in writing. I'm making reference there really to all his crimes he puts in writing, which is very stupid. But narcissists like him tend to think that they're very smart and clever, and somehow they're just never going to get caught, even when they do things right in your face. So down here, of course, he starts getting nasty, and that's one of the reasons I'm suspicious about this being GOTUS, is he starts smearing Luna and he's trying to smear me with the same smear. Mentally ill BPD women you are, think that means woman there, trying to imitate somebody like you have two different personalities. No, that's play acting in a parody. I don't talk like Primal Belle anywhere else that I go. Anyway, you sound much like Diane when she get into nerd rage. Oh no, he called me a nerd. Whatever will I do? And starts to throw rotten eggs and casino chips. Oh, you are so amazing. Clap, clap. Well, the thing is I'd like to address that actually because that I ignore that because that's just their one thing they try to use as a go-to to attack her. But I will say if you observe everything and you understand that being in a relationship with him, abusing her constantly, her being under duress constantly, my best guess is that footage of that one or two times she had a meltdown, no telling what had been going on leading up to that. And she didn't murder anybody in the meltdown. She didn't attack, and she asked you to stop filming her and was crying. No telling what you were doing to her, and that was going to be your gotcha video. Well, congratulations for that, because guess what? We've seen you try to kill people. We've seen you write about killing babies. We've seen you make videos about having sex with 1 to 2 year old babies. So Luna being a little nutty in a casino one time after she'd probably been dealing with no telling what, whoopity doo. That's all I have to say about that. No one got hurt or murdered or maimed in that little meltdown. So you can write about it every other day. No one cares. Now, down here we have me telling him that, getting kind of salty with the, yeah, everyone else is bad and he's good. Everyone has disorders and your GOTUS doesn't. That's just ridiculous. And anyway, I told him to have a live stream or a debate with me. Here, we could talk face to face about it. Your accusations about Luna and your defense of him, it'd be fine. Put up or shut up, basically. And very much. If you could only put one and one together, your life would be much easier. That's his response. So to me, this person is either GOTUS pretending to be a dumb young kid writing crap, or it is a dumb young guy, young kid writing crap. By young kid, I mean maybe a teenager or something. So if it's that, then they're very sick and need help. But if it's GOTUS, well, we know he needs to go to jail. And then after I challenged him to that, he got worse in terms of just like writing for no reason and dumb stuff like this okay midget thing here. Just weird. Called me a duck at one point. Okay. I mean, would you think that, I'm a girl. You call me a duck and you think I'm gonna, what, cry or something? That's crazy. But anyways, so for some pretty obvious reasons, I think it's possible that is Gaddis. The obsession with Luna, the channel being essentially about harassing her and spreading rumors about her, the same rumors and lies that were perpetuated by Godis, and the level of anger shown to any comments supportive of Luna. The writing being deliberately badly worded or disguised to look like it could be someone else writing it or a teenager writing it or something. That's something he would waste time doing. And one of the things my next video is about is, you know, uh, the way he views the people that are supporting him, whether they realize it or not. And that's a really important topic. This here could be a sicko fanboy who wants nothing more than to help what is really a piss drinking person who is attacking his ex-girlfriend for years, because in their mind they might move up a notch in his chain of fools. It's just unreal. The mentality here, the satanic shit, which of course, as I stated, if you want to tell me that there's something wrong with you and you're not very bright without just telling me that, just slap a demon on, everything you own, from your shirts to your, computer page, and I'm gonna kind of know that. Um, it's just ridiculous. There's nothing fun, creative, or worthwhile going on with Godus or any of his crew. He actually deliberately presented himself as everything that he isn't, like saying that other people are depressed when he's clearly miserable, and saying that other people are, unable to let go of things. And he's paranoid and raging so much at people that want to get away from him, because he's so insecure about someone knowing what he is and letting them just leave once they know. This instability in his life, the lifestyle where he has no ties to any community, even the one that he created from the internet. He could at least be good to those people, but no, it's really just a self-serving, totalistic cult where he abuses and discards all the well-meaning people until he doesn't have anybody left to do that to. So that needs to be illustrated for anybody that doesn't get it, that the real mentality of people like himself and even Belle also, who clearly was living a twisted, sick life and then presenting herself as though she was living a beautiful, fun, happy life. The people like this overly evil rhetoric of his and do that same behavior too, they really are usually destructive type of people who don't rely on talent or intelligence or anything of value to do anything good with themselves. They try to manipulatively use or even rob other people who do have those skills and qualities, or whatever they can get out of them. So the channels like mine, I know for me, a huge part of it is to provide that information about him and Belle for the case for Luna, and then also for people that are still getting themselves involved with anything to do with him, someone that doesn't know these things, or encouraging anyone who, is a decent person who just somewhat doesn't get it, especially younger people in their teens and 20s who, for them, they may not understand how evil this all really is when it's presenting itself to them as something else. And so I want to explain that in the other video, but in a fun way. And, for these kinds of people, if they aspire to be nothing more than a submissive worshiper of a guy with a raging case of man boobs, who's been in an asylum for real, where they determined he was a danger to himself and to others, who drinks another dude's piss, who's now on the run from the popo for what is not his first murder attempt and involves murdering a baby, well, then you do you, but you're not going to do it with me. You can, if you want to make any kind of semi-valid argument or ask question because you don't know things, that's totally different. But if you're a depraved individual wanting to attack a woman who's been attacked with acid on my page and sort of semi sound like you're suggesting I might not have a good time if I keep making videos, then our time in cyberspace has come to an end. And I know that person will be back creating more and more sock accounts and stuff like that, but I'll go full Sandman Sims when he does. So I challenged him to a debate and about his, Lord Savior and bigamous bimbo, and more than once he didn't even respond to that. So that's the toughness they display. Anyway, that's either Goat Dung himself or someone else depraved. And I just can't believe that there are this many depraved people in the world, but there really are. Uh, And with that being said, there will be more Primal Belt video rotation to and from the crime scene. And this was an attempted blinding, maiming, murdering. It wasn't just like they went over there to scare her or something. And she used one of her own children to help commit the attack. So for Primal Belle, or Marina, her real name, if she's even still alive, she needs to do the right thing for once and turn herself and her little man in. And these people that feel the way that my number one fan there did, they need to go get some help, pronto, and get a life also, and maybe borrow one from somebody else because that's what Gaddis has to do. He has no authentic, creative, or interesting personhood of his own. He has to borrow it off of other people. And it doesn't even do him any good. He doesn't see something cool or someone cool and think, I should maybe alter my behavior and be more like that guy. No, that's not what he does. He just tries to suck that guy dry and then move on. And he can't transform. He really won't ever be able to do that. People like that generally don't change, and that's a sad reality that people won't face. But anyway, my channel was started because I was enjoying seeing the dip in funding for Godus and his little broad there to commit crimes due to the outing of his true personhood from the channels I watch the most, which would be Spheria, Godus Parody, Acid for My Valentine, and Ghost of James Uganda. And also seeing Luna step forward to do whatever she wants to in her life, which is her right and always was. Anyone supporting Gaddis who has all the facts right now is absolutely depraved. So I have a song suggestion actually for all the Goat Herd members, a remix of an old song that Laura Branigan did called Self Control. And of course, she's talking about something entirely different than the song, but the way I relate it to them and their condition of the mind is that uh, they can't let go of the admiration of the Spheria character. They desperately need it to be real. And they can't accept that he's really Gaddis Lagston's, and he's not a very great guy at all. He's a loser. And if you can't deal with that, you haven't got the will to fight for anything, do you? You're not a protagonist in your own story if you want to always act according to what he will approve of. Are you kidding me? Especially for a man to be like that, it's just insane to me. So, like she says in the song, you forgot to play your role. You're playing the role he's given you, and it's going to be a flop. So, until later.